Welcome, listener supported KTOO. Welcome to Juneau Afternoon, broadcasting live from the homelands of the Aquan. It is Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. Gwyneth Cheesh, Hawa, Toxignusum, Salamat. Thank you for joining the .org/JPM Live and Facebook pages. Today, we preview Juneau's annual Thanksgiving shopping tradition, the Public Market, which will also feature demonstrations from Capital City Fire and Rescue and new vendors such as Sweet Spot Studios, who are expanding to create a new store and baking classes here in Juneau. We talk with members from Juneau Community Bands about their presentation of Handel's Messiah this weekend at Kunekidi Northern Lights United Church. And we chat with Gustavus author Kim Heacox, who is widely known for his novels, but he has also written articles for The Guardian on climate change. He will give a presentation for 350 Juneau entitled The Power of Story in Addressing the Climate Crisis next Wednesday, December 3rd. Those conversations are coming up this hour on Juneau Afternoon.
Support from Hanson Gress, seeking curious people who like technology, network engineering, and customer support. Opportunities for those who thrive on problem solving. Details at hansongress.com/careers.
Programming note, this is our only show this week as we'll be off for the holiday this Thursday. Tuesday 2nd. It's Gowrie. So look at Juneau Dance Theater's Nutcracker. And as well next week, we'll look at Juneau Symphony's upcoming holiday concert. That's all next week on Juneau Afternoon. And two additional items today. We also want to mention that the Christmas tree lighting ceremony from the Douglas 4th of July Committee is happening at 6:30 p.m. And that is going to be on Friday, November 28th. You'll also be able to skate with Santa at 7 p.m. at the Treadwell Ice Arena. It's free to all. You can leave your dogs at home, they say, bring a flashlight, and donations are accepted for the Douglas Food Pantry. You can find out more by putting into your favorite search engine the Douglas 4th of July Committee. And tonight at 6 p.m. is the final night of what's been a month of community soup nights at the new Sealaska Heritage Institute's Indigenous Science Building. The event and its organizer, Jamie Ann Hasselquist, is this week's Tongass Voices, a series from KTOO sharing weekly perspectives from the homelands of the Aquan and beyond. She and her team use traditional Tlingit foods to make soup for anyone who wants to try some, and maybe even bring home the recipe to make themselves. Last week, the group prepared chili with beef, deer, and mountain goat meat.
Can you hear it sizzling? We have so many good things in here. We have guacan, deer, John Woo, mountain goat, and wasus, cow. Thinget kena tsechtun yuhat duasak. Yekna hatsiti, deshitanaya hat. Yeksagi hitdach. My people come from Angoon and the Raven's Bones house, and my Thinget name it's Echtin. Most people know me by Jamie Ann. I think it's a really beautiful way to bring community together, especially in a time of need when like SNAP benefits have been delayed or whatever it is. It's putting our families and members of our community into very stressful positions where they're having to make choices between food and whatever else is important. And so being able to provide a night where we can gather together and share a meal and just enjoy each other's company and show each other like we're not alone, that we're here to support each other. I think that's really important. There was a child who was in here, I think last week. They had never tried deer meat before. So it was their first time. They were probably 10 years old. And others, I never tried mountain goat before. I've been cooking with it now. It cooks a lot like deer. And it tastes pretty similar to deer, but a little bit different. And then cow, Wasus, most of us know cow, but we don't know that it's called Wasus Tlingit. And so to share that part is kind of fun. I think it's really nice to be able to share these out with people in the community because it should be a part of our regular diet. And because of, harms that have happened, distances between relations of the earth and us as people, what we ate in our diets, what we use for plant medicines, there's been a huge disruption in that. And so to be able to bring it into a dish like chili, to share it with everyone and have them try it, I hear things like, oh, I remember tasting this when I was a kid, or I've never had this in my entire life. So there's a wide range of emotions that go along with feeding this traditional food to our people. That animal, they had a life going on, and they give that life to be here. And so I will thank it for its life and its spirit still being with us through this process, and tell it the healing that it's bringing to the people. That some people have never tried you before. They don't know the taste. Some people, it's going to transport them back to when they were children, 30 years ago maybe. Some people think that they never were going to try this again. And it makes me emotional when I'm talking to them. But I also feel it's very appropriate, and it's something that has to be done to be able to respect the spirit of whatever that is that's here to help us learn, to help us return, to remember.
That was Jamie Ann Hasselquist for this week's Tongass Voices. Tonight is the last night for that soup kitchen down at the Indigenous Sciences Building, and I hear the menu is pozole, so that should be really good. You are listening to community-supported Juneau Afternoon on KTOO, 104.3 Juneau, 91.7 Juneau Auk Bay, and online at ktoo.org. You can also join us on our live stream on KTOO's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages. I'm Boston Christopher. The holiday season is upon us, and one thing is for sure, Public Market is the place to get all your holiday shopping done in one weekend, if you so desire. In addition to the variety of vendors available, there are numerous presentations, concert, and other activities that you can learn about and participate in. One such event this year is the Capital City Fire and Rescue, who will be recruiting for its CPR training ahead of a release of a new 911 app that'll be coming in the next 6 to 8 months. And you can help your community by getting this training. We'll find out more from Andrew Pantiskis from the Capital City Fire Rescue. And Juneau's cookie game is about to get elevated as Sweet Spot Studios is making its way to Juneau. Kicking off by taking part in Public Market, Chef Josie Lukasik offers classes and more to take your decorating to the next level. And we also welcome organizer Peter Metcalf, who puts this amazing venture together year after year to the delight of all of the Juneauites.
Year
after year. How many years has it been, Peter?
Well, this will be the 43rd annual.
43rd annual. Wow, that's amazing. Well, Gunath Chia, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you all here in the studio today. Andrew, welcome. Wasiati, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent. Josie, welcome to Juneau.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's going to be so fun to learn about all of that. So we just learned that it's been, did you say 48?
43.
43.
Well, it's the 43rd annual. It's 42nd year. 1983 was our first.
83. Okay. So you're coming up on 50 here in a few years too.
Yeah, let's hope we make it.
You will make it for sure. How many vendors this year, Peter?
easily over 175. There's a lot of double, triple, quadruple vendors. We have 163 assigned spaces, actually 165 as of now.
Okay,
Anyway,
and this
it's a fluid figure.
It's fluid figure always, and this happens at Centennial Hall.
And the Jack.
And the Jack is still the annex, right?
That's right.
Okay, they call it the annex. For your admission, you get to go into Centennial Hall. I think how much is it?
It's $10 at the door at Centennial Hall. The Jack is free to enter. So
Jack is free to enter.
and that's where we're doing all the prize drawings.
Okay.
Makes it kind of fun to get over there, and there's good 40-some vendors alone at the Jack.
At the Jack,
Yeah.
wow. That's amazing at the Juneau Arts and Culture Center. And is there also going to be food trucks and stuff, too?
We have a food service area, a food court in Sheffield Ballroom, and we have 5 vendors serving fresh, hot foods.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. That's amazing. And I know you have some, in addition to our lovely guests that we have here today, there's some other events that will be going on. I know last Friday we had on the Juneau Community Choir, who will be doing their presentation on Saturday.
Group, yeah.
The choral group will be doing their presentation.
Vox Borealis.
Oh, Vox is that's separate, right? Because I'm talking about the concert choir that's going to be at 3:00 on.
You're talking about the cello choir.
Oh, sorry, yes, cello
I was
choir,
thinking, my
not
God,
voices.
did I forget something I had
No,
scheduled?
you have so many things scheduled that and everything starts with
Juneau
Juneau.
cello choir is close to my heart. I love
Yeah.
that performance. It's about 14 cellos, and
Yeah.
we're stressing about getting them in the door, and I was thinking, anybody coming in with a cello is just going to be admitted.
Yeah, right. If you have a cello. And that'll be on Saturday. I think it's like at 3:00 or something. Yeah.
Right.
And then there's other additional performances, right? Like
That's
you mentioned, Vox Borealis will be doing
And
something.
we have a couple from the Yukon who's troubadours, basically. They'll be roaming. And
Okay.
we have a Juneau, God, I'm sorry, I can't remember her name. It's a blank right now. But she's a very wonderful woman, and she's going to be playing piano near the entrance.
Okay, awesome.
so,
So there's all kinds of it's an event, right?
It is,
It's an event,
yeah.
and in addition to all the vendors, there's all the other things to keep you busy. I love doing it because I'm a terrible holiday shopper, and it's one way to get it all done. Like you go on Friday, you see everything. Really, though, if you see stuff, you got to buy it because if you try to come back on Sunday, a lot of times things are gone.
Sometimes, but, Sunday's also really calm by comparison to the other 2 days. And most of these vendors, like James Reed from home, are coming with Alaska-made honey. And I was just talking to him, and he's bringing in probably maybe triple what he did the previous years. They're selling so much honey.
Oh, wow.
So they'll have honey throughout the weekend. But
That's great. And is Eli's Dyes back? Is Eli making
No,
it this
he
year?
isn't, no.
Oh, man, I've been buying from him for the last couple of years.
I think he's taking a 1-year break. But
I see, okay.
Anyway, one of the things, Boston, I think we all love about the public market is you get to meet people like Jossie in person. This is not ordering online.
Right.
And Jossie is going to be giving some demonstrations. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's going to be so fun. Remind us, and we're going to talk to Jossie in a second, remind us what the hours are for this weekend,
Right.
Peter.
Noon on Fridays when we open.
Okay.
And we're open till 7 p.m. on Friday and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, excellent.
So,
That's the
and
schedule.
to remind everybody, it's $10 at the door. Cash will get you right in. And we try to make it as quick as possible. Don't want people standing out in the snow or rain. And
Right.
So bring cash, and if there's a line, just go to the Jack. It's open. It's free.
Yeah, for sure. Waste a little time over at the Jack first and then get into the main hall, for sure. So, Jossie, let's talk to you a little bit. Can you tell me how to say where you studied in France? What is the name? I was going to try it, but I don't even want to try it.
So if anyone speaks French, I apologize. I'm terrible with language, but it's Isanjo.
Okay, all right.
It looks like Yasingo, but
okay.
Isanjo, yeah.
Isanjo, okay. And you also were at this Ecole.
So Isanjo is the town, and then I'm not gonna lie, I can't say the name, so we say ENSP.
ENSP.
Yep.
It's a patisserie school, right?
It was an
right?
amazing experience.
Yeah.
It was an 8-week program, and we stayed in a castle, and we just did pastry for 2 months.
That's amazing. Now, you've been in North Carolina. You were named the Pastry Chef of the Year. You were also on Mecklenburg Times 50 Most Influential Women. You're the Charlatan of the Year by the Charlotte Magazine. So you've done a lot of things. So tell me a little bit about Sweet Spot Studios, how it began, and what is it?
So I guess my story kind of began in restaurants. I thought I was going to be a restaurant pastry chef forever, and after 3 years, I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I need to figure something out. So wedding cakes was going to be my next step, and in order to afford rent, I actually started a commissary kitchen for bakers so that they could pay my rent for me while I got things going. I
see.
did that for about a year, and then the panic that set in when I realized I hated doing wedding cakes was horrible. But I had the opportunity to start the studio, taught my first class, and I'm like, okay, teaching is where I am meant to be in this industry.
And so you teach how to, we're going to show some examples here. You teach how to up your decorating game with cookies, right?
We teach everything. So cookie decorating is definitely our most popular offering. I'd say it's my passion within the subsets, but we do French pastry, cake decorating. Sourdough has been my deep dive these past few years. So we do everything.
Well, sourdough fits right into Alaska, I guess. So you have can you also tell people what your Instagram is, because people can go and see images and stuff on your Instagram?
So currently our Instagram is Sweet Spot Studio CLT. And initially, we were going to be starting a different brand here, and we actually decided to have this as a second location and keep brand cohesion.
Okay.
So I need to figure out what to replace the CLT with so we can have it for both. But
JNU.
Well, we have our website, JNU.
Okay,
but
great.
the account has to be for both, so
I see.
TBD on what it will become. But for now,
see.
it's Sweet Spot Studio CLT.
But it's like you're going to be bi-coastal almost. It's like really, that's awesome. You're just on a different axis, which is
I'm really
cool.
lucky my best friend is taking over.
I'm going to show this cookie on my screen here. This is one that Jossie brought me today. It's the KTOO logo, and it says Sweet Spot, and it has a heart on it. It's pretty amazing. Peter, will you hold up yours to the camera? It's just right up here. You can kind of see Peter has a Public Market cookie. And then not only did she do that for us, she also did it for Andrew. He's got the CCFR logo on his cookie, which is unbelievable. And thank you so much for that.
The only problem is you hesitate to eat it.
I know, but she gave me 2, so I'm going to go ahead and...
It's Snickerdoodle.
Oh, beautiful.
ASMR into the microphone right now. That's a Snicker. That's really good. Oh my God, that is delicious. So you're going to be at Public Market. What will you be doing this weekend?
So we did our best with coming from North Carolina. We actually kind of got kicked out of our spots on the plane because our baggage was so much the plane was off balance. So there's only so much we could bring. So we're doing a cookie photo booth. So you'll be able to get your picture taken, printed on a cookie, and then we'll be selling like the ornament right here. Which are kids and family.
Nibble?
I wouldn't recommend eating epoxy.
Okay.
But it was edible before we put that on.
Before you put the epoxy on.
So it's basically this
It's the
covered in
cookie
epoxy. Yep.
turned into an ornament. Okay.
Yep.
And then when are you going to be coming to Juneau?
We're saying March
Okay.
right now. We know we want to be open by May 1st, but we're hoping to be open in April.
I see. Okay. And you're going to teach classes and things like that, right?
Yep, we're going to do a lot. What I realized was selling the business in Charlotte, and you guys have a lot more of this here, but we've kind of accidentally made a third place. Just seeing kind of how the public reacted to us leaving, and so I really hope that we can kind of continue that very community-oriented, just safe space for learning, and then honestly, like if you meet other people who love doing pastry, that leads to So, I'm sure you guys hear this all the time. Ketchikan we went to first. We thought something was a little off. Then we realized people were happy. And then we came to Juneau, and we had gorgeous sunshine all day. And ultimately, when my husband Tim was looking into it, the climate change situation for Ketchikan and just how small it was, we're like, okay, Juneau fits all the boxes.
I see, okay.
We are very happy with our choice.
Well, we're glad you're here, and you're also here this weekend because you get to experience the winter a little bit, to know what you're getting into, which is dark and rainy.
We have been joking that we're like, where's the rain?
Yeah.
We had it the first day, and it's been beautiful, and I've taken 500 pictures of the mountain with blue sky.
Oh, well, you'll see the rain, right, Andrew? All right, Andrew Pantiskis from CCFR, you are also going to be on hand this weekend at Public Market. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be doing.
We are. So we're going to be doing a couple of things, but the biggest one is promoting CPR education, teaching hands-only CPR in a very small setting, and trying to find where our AEDs are in town, our automated external defibrillators, because we have an application that's coming, thanks to partly Peter Metcalf and a lot of other partners, that will basically tell us where someone is when they're in cardiac arrest, and it'll geolocate, and it will show anyone who's in the vicinity who has that app where those AEDs are. So we're going to be trying to make a list of individuals who have AEDs in their workplace and then reach out to them in 2026 to start adding them.
So in essence, like if I have this app and I go into cardiac arrest, that will notify all the people who also have the app. And if you have the training, then you can go help that person?
Almost. If you have the app, our dispatchers are going to basically say, this person's in cardiac arrest here. And the app will tell us where they are, what floor they're on, and where the closest AED is, so we can go grab it and then respond to you.
I see. So it'll still be paramedics responding, or can a local? But I mean, it's also good for regular folks to get the training.
It's actually imperative that everyone gets the training. So CCFR's response time to our cardiac arrest is 9 minutes across the board. Every minute is a decrease in survival that someone doesn't start high-quality compressions. So what we're trying to do is to get people that are close by to start to bridge the distance between us, CCFR, our paramedics, our EMTs, our firefighters, and that person.
I see.
So the community plays a very vital role in our cardiac arrest response, just like JPD does, just like our other healthcare partners do. But the sooner we can get compressions onto someone in cardiac arrest, the better outcome we're going to have across the board.
Absolutely. And is this training provided free of charge for folks?
So what we're going to do at the holiday market is we're going to be offering to teach them how to do hands-only CPR. We have a couple of our CPR mannequins there. We'll have a couple AEDs there. The certification classes, they aren't, but there's a lot of partners in town who offer them for different prices and
Scholarships
different classes and so on and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to track anybody who wants a certification course down, and then I can send them all the information of where to go, how to do it, who's doing what. For example, Southeast Extinguisher does them. Clinton and Haida does CPR classes sometimes. Bartlett does CPR classes. We do CPR classes. Our regional office. So there's a lot of areas you can go to for CPR courses. That way we can get the community trained up.
And what is the best way for people to learn more about this? Is it to go to the CCFR website? Or?
Actually, I'd say stop by Holiday Market.
Well, of course, you got to stop by Holiday Market.
And if not Holiday Market, then the CCFR website.
Good marketing guy over here. You brought the right guy.
Thank you, Andrew.
And you're going to be, where are they going to be located, Peter? Are they in the lobby?
They're in the main lobby, and actually, it's right in front of the information booth, kind of the mid lobby.
Perfect.
It's really a good spot, and you won't be able to miss them if you come into the public market.
Awesome. And Jossie, do you know where Jossie's going to be?
She's going to be in at the beginning of the food court. As you turn left to the food court, she's there on your immediate left.
I see. Okay, awesome. I look forward to seeing that. I really appreciate this. You can see I took the bite of this cookie. I'm going to be finishing up this later today. I know you all are setting up. Everybody's getting ready before they take the day off to have some turkey and such. And then we open the public market on Friday at noon.
Yeah.
And just full disclosure, K2O is even having a booth this year
right.
at Market. And self-promotion plug, we're going to be selling.
Let me give a little
plug
you
do it.
For K2.
Please.
I've been doing businesses in this town since I was a young fellow, and fortunately, K2 was just coming of age as I was, and they've been part of many of the things I've done in Juneau and are such a part of the community, and we need to support them. And so I hope you come down and pledge your support to K2. They need it now. We need them.
Absolutely. And there's going to be some cool records on sale. We haven't had a record sale in a long time. They're going to be selling some records, and we've got some cool stickers from the logos from the past few years. Anyway, lots of cool stuff going to be happening at Public Market this week, kicking off Friday at noon. Andrew, Jossie, Peter, thank you so much for coming in and telling us all about it. I can't thank you enough for sharing this experience. And Peter, thanks for giving us 43 and hopefully many more years of
thank you,
Public
Boston.
Market. Because like you said, and sort of a lot of times we have to shop online.
Yeah.
But it's difficult because you're not only supporting, there's a bunch of local vendors who go to Public Market. And we love that, small business folks who are doing their business on the side and they get to go to Public Market, but then also people come from all over
Alaska.
to sell stuff in
North Carolina.
And from North Carolina,
I saw
which is
Atlanta was in sign too.
pretty awesome. And Peter, you have an Instagram as well for Public Market. That's a good place for people to follow, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of brain dead on that one because Alice Johnson, now Smith, Alice got married this summer, but she's my social media person. And just go to juneaupublicmarket.com and take it from there.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you all for being here. Really fantastic. Appreciate you being here. Thanks so much.
Thank you, boss.
Thank you for having us.
Sheesh. This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO.
Hi, my name is Norman Cohen from Congregation Sukkot Shalom, and this is a Juneau Afternoon Calendar Delight. Congregation Sukkot Shalom is sponsoring a Jewish film series which runs between October and June at Goldtown Theater. The next movie, Welcome to Yiddish Land, will be shown on December 2nd at 7 p.m. with a live klezmer performance beginning at 6:30. The next showing will be on Sunday, June 7th at 5 o'clock p.m. You can find out more information at the Goldtown Theater website. Thank you very much, and see you at the movies.
That was Norman Cohen talking about the Jewish Film Festival. Just to correct that one date in there, the second showing is on Sunday, December 7th. This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO.
You're listening to Tlingit Word of the Week. This week's word comes from Kakwan-ish George Davis. And the word this week is atcha.
Atcha.
That means food. And here's a sentence. He bought food from the store. Let's hear it again.
Atcha.
Food. Gunesh Chish to Juneau Lance Twitchell, Goldbelt Heritage Foundation, and the University of Alaska Southeast for this audio.
Kakwan-ish George Davis was Takdain Tan and the child of a Tsagwedi man. He grew up in Kake, Alaska, and learned to speak well because he would always bring traditional foods to the elders there. As someone who fished a lot and spent time on the land, he knew Tlingit place names all over the area, and he learned many stories and advanced ways of speaking.
And tune in next week for another Tlingit Word of the Week from KTOO.
Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Heritage Coffee Roasting Company, providing Juneau with locally roasted coffee for over 40 years, with cafes and drive-through locations throughout Juneau. More at heritagecoffee.com.
Support for Juneau Afternoon comes from Alaska Airlines Club 49. Membership information available at club49hub.com. This is Juneau Afternoon from your listener-supported public media station, KTOO. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. You can also join us on our live stream on KTOO's YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages. Juneau Community Bands, your local group of wind and percussion musicians, is putting on their annual concert. It's basically becoming annual, it seems like, of Handel's Messiah, Part 1, and also the Hallelujah Chorus. It's this Saturday, November 29th at 7 p.m., and Sunday, November 30th at 2 p.m. It includes a community chorus, soloists, and a wind orchestra directed by Rich Moore. Rich and Juneau Community Band's president, Sarah McNair Grove, join me now to share a little bit more about this heartwarming concert. Gunneth Chish, Ha'iyadi, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you both in the studio today. Wasiyati, Sarah, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having us.
Excellent. And of course, Rich, welcome in. Wasiyati.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
so,
our pleasure.
Sarah, let's start with am I right? And this is becoming like an annual thing? How long has it been going on?
Well, this is our second year. Second time.
Okay.
We didn't do it last year. We thought every year might get a little bit too much. So every other year, every third year, we were hoping to do something.
I see. Okay. So not necessarily annual, but I don't even know what that would be. I don't think biannual works because that means twice a year.
Yeah.
And that would seem odd. So every other year.
Every
or so.
other year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But have you done it in previous years before that, or was it a couple years ago the first time?
A couple years ago was the first time. It's been my dream for a long time to do it, and just finding the music for a wind orchestra, because it was written for strings, was a little bit of a challenge. There were a couple floating around out there, but it took a little bit of time to find somebody who was willing to share it with us. And so the Orchestra of St. John's in the United Kingdom, their director did a reorchestration for wind orchestra, and they were very gracious to share it with us.
I see. And how many people are involved?
Well, we have about 30 singers, and we have 4 soloists, and we have, 10, 13 musicians.
Awesome.
And
That's
we have
great.
a conductor.
And a conductor. We'll get to Rich in just one second. I just want to ask, too, before we move on to talking to Rich about this, the reindeer, are you doing the reindeer?
The reindeers are rehearsing. We're going to show up at the State Museum for Gallery Walk.
Okay.
And then we usually play at the Pioneers Home and Riverview Senior Living and places like that. So if anybody wants to hear the reindeers, probably Gallery Walk at the State Museum's the best place.
State Museum. Okay, that's great. That's just a good thing to know. And of course, you can always go to Juneau Community Band, 1S, .org, or is it .com?
Org.
Org, okay, JuneauCommunityBand.org, or go to Facebook and search Juneau Community Band. That is also where you can find out all the things that are coming up for them, because I'm sure you're going to have some cool things coming up in the spring as well. So, Rich, tell us what it's like to, wrangle 30 singers and all these musicians, and what's that like?
It's exhilarating.
Yeah.
I can tell you. It's a little scary at times when things don't quite go to plan, but that's music in general, and that's part of the draw and the exhilaration of it all, is being right on that edge where it could go wrong, but with the preparation and everybody concentrating, it can go really right as well, and that's the beauty of it, I think.
Well, and it's true, too, in sense, especially a community sense, right? Like it's a community choir, it's a community group, it's, it's people coming together. There may not be, full 100% professional, but that doesn't mean that they're not professional in their attitude or their talent, right?
Exactly.
And so what is your background in conducting?
I have been a teacher this is my 28th year teaching, so middle school in Texas for a few years, and then I've been in Juneau since 2005. And so lots of school-age groups.
Okay.
Conducting both choir and string orchestra.
So you're used to wild animals.
Oh, my goodness, yes, yes, and corralling those wild animals. Yeah, so that's my major my major point of contact with groups is high school now, but I also do a children's choir in the evenings, and then Sarah and Dave had asked me to be a part of this, and so I've done a couple of band things, both just band by themselves a few years ago. I might have had 10 years ago, I think. Yeah, it's been a while.
Right.
And then 2 years ago with a Messiah group.
Okay.
So-
And was that? Oh, so you were the
I
conductor
was.
for the previous version
Correct.
of this. Okay. And what is your history with Handel's Messiah? What did you know about it before going in?
Yes, this is one. Sarah said, kind of a dream come true. I knew about it when I was a kid. My father was an amateur musician, a church musician as well, and so it's been a part of my family since I can remember. But I never thought that I would get a chance to conduct it. It was always just singing as a part of it, and so I did that both in college and then in grad school, singing in the choir and participating on that side of things. And as the older I got, I thought, well, that the chance to conduct is probably gone by, but.
Here we are.
Here we are. That's right.
so
And
great.
it's actually been really exciting, not just to work with adults because they're a different kind of animal than those high school. But no, to get to work with adults is a joy.
A treat, yeah.
It is.
And tell me a little bit about Handel's Messiah for those who may not know, because I know it also you put in your marketing stuff, Sarah, part 1. Right. So what does that mean in the Hallelujah chorus? What are the two different parts of that? And
actually, there are 3 parts to it all.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's termed an oratorio, which is basically an unstaged, like a theater piece, right?
Okay.
But it doesn't have sets or costumes, or it is loosely plotted out, and it's about the life of Jesus Christ and his time on earth. And so it is divided up into 3 parts, and so we're doing the first one, which loosely it deals with basically the Old Testament, the prophecies about Jesus and who he was and what he was supposed to be. And then we tuck the Hallelujah chorus in because you can't do Messiah without the Hallelujah chorus in there, because that's the big piece from that piece. So
is it in English or is it in? Okay.
It is.
Okay.
It's in English, yeah.
And was it it wasn't originally though, was
it?
No,
It's
it was.
always been English. Yeah.
Always been English. Okay. That's I didn't know. I don't know anything about it, so that's why I'm being the layperson who can let people know, because this seems like a really good weekend for it in terms of getting ready. We just had Public Market on. People are now really into. The holiday season has begun, right? So it feels like, Sarah, that this is a wonderful way to get yourself in the holiday mood.
Well, that was kind of the reason why we picked the time. We've got Public Market, which starts people thinking about Christmas presents. What am I going to get my family and friends? And we realized there was no music to go along with it this weekend. So we thought, this would be a good weekend, because when you get in December, other groups start doing things, and we don't like to overlap too much so that everybody can do everything that happens in town.
For sure.
So, yeah. So that's how we picked it.
And here's the beauty. Now, of course, you should still make some sort of offering, as it were. But if you've spent all your money at Public Market, there is no charge for the concert. Of course, donations are accepted because the community band still has expenses to pay and things like that, because you are at the Kanikidi Northern United Church. And of course, there's rental fees and there's things like that, and you have things to do and upkeep and all of that. So it's a nice thing to still be able to do. But you can bring your whole family, right, to an event like this for an affordable donation.
That was exactly what we want. We want people to come. It's beautiful, beautiful music. It's a way to start off the festive season. And we just want people to come, help supporting us, as you mentioned, because we do have expenses. But this is our gift to Juneau.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, it's going to be this Saturday, November 29th at 7 p.m., and then it's Sunday, November 30th at 2 p.m. And again, as I said, it's at Kanikidi Northern Light United Church. And how many people total did you say? There's 30 singers, and how many musicians are in this? You have the
15,
most.
So it's
I think there's 13 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have 40, 45 people involved in it. With the soloists, there's probably 45.
Did you do it last time at the church as well?
Yeah, we did.
Because it seems like that would be such a beautiful space for it. Does it just sound incredible?
It does. That hardwood inside that church really is reverberant. So
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So, Rich, what's else is on your bucket list? What else would you love for Sarah to produce so that you could conduct it?
Well, we were just speaking about parts 2 and 3. That would be something that we're kind of shooting out maybe to 2027 to see if there's some interest in doing the other parts.
Are they more difficult, those other parts? It just makes a long concert,
It just
right?
makes for a long concert. This one, as we have it programmed, is just right at an hour.
Okay.
So it's very accessible for those anybody that just wants to check it out, doesn't know it for sure.
Yeah.
But that would be going back to doing the whole thing, or stuff that we haven't done from this oratorio before. So.
Or if you bring in your youngins, they won't. Only an hour is
that's
nice, right?
That's
because they get a little antsy.
Yeah.
Right.
And we really do encourage people to come with their families. It's a very family-friendly environment and music.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I thank you so much for coming in to tell us a little bit about this. I'm putting the poster up for those who may be on the stream because it shows the 4 soloists there. You want to shout out the soloists there?
Sure. We have David Monroe on bass. We have Kayla Dapsevich as our soprano soloist, Aria Moore as our alto soloist, and Jacob Miller as our tenor soloist.
Yeah, that's so good. That's going to be wonderful. It's this weekend, part 1, and the Hallelujah Chorus, of course, Handel's Messiah at Kunukidi Northern Light United Church from Juneau Community Bands. You can go to juneaucommunityband.org to find out more and look for upcoming performances as well. Rich, thanks so much. Gwyneth Cheech for coming in. Sarah, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
I really appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. This is Juneau Afternoon on KTOO. Up next, we have a really cool story about Tlingit and Dena'ina writer and playwright Vera Starbard, who recently clinched her 4th Emmy nomination for the PBS show Molly of Denali. The Alaska State Writer Laureate wrote an episode about the show's titular character navigating the complex history of Thanksgiving to create a celebration that honors Alaska Native culture. KTOO's Jamie Deep spoke with Starbard about the nomination and writing the episode.
Vera Starbard was nominated for Outstanding Writing.
Everyone, it's me, Molly!
As they learn why some Alaska Native people don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Starbard says she'd been pitching the episode early in the show's creation.
It was sort of a, let me at it. I want to tell a Thanksgiving episode from a Native perspective. I don't personally celebrate Thanksgiving.
In the episode, Grandpa Nat, Molly's grandfather, talks about why he doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving and calls it a time of mourning. He spoke about, quote, new people who outlawed many indigenous traditions and destroyed different cultural pieces.
Oh, sometimes people do awful things when they don't understand other people's way of life.
Starbard says the scene explaining that traditions were outlawed was the core of what she wanted to convey with the story.
It wasn't something lost. Like, I think when we hear about it, it's as if we forgot it, that Native people just sort of blacked it out for some reason. It was taken from us. It was very forcefully and violently taken from us. And that is difficult to do in a show like Molly when you're trying to, talk to 4-year-olds and 8-year-olds, and you don't want to re-traumatize people with it, but you do want to tell the truth, and you want to tell the full truth that really hasn't been told to us in our history books.
In the rest of the episode, Molly and her friends host a community-wide celebration that brings back Alaska Native traditions, including time to mourn. In the episode, Molly asks her Auntie Myrna about it.
How can you be sad and celebrate?
When we remember our ancestors together and talk about what was lost, we know we're not alone. Then we can all heal together and celebrate what we have.
Communal grieving through ceremonies like a Tlingit kuik, also known as a potlatch, was also outlawed. Starbard says she wanted to bring that into the show.
I don't see many people talking about communal grief outside of Native communities. I think Native communities, we talk about it a lot, and I don't see that many other places. This, to me, was a gift the Native people could give the rest of the world. This is how you grieve together, and it's a good thing to grieve together.
Starbard says this 4th nomination means a lot to her, but it's a bittersweet moment. She says she thought about her dad when she was nominated again. She brought her mom and sister to the Emmy ceremony for her previous nomination and wished she could have brought her dad as well.
He had said, but next time you're nominated, I'll go to that one. And he passed away a couple months ago, and that was definitely on my mind. Just that he was so confident that I would be nominated again for my work, but also sad that he can't be there.
The winner of the Outstanding Writing for a Preschool Animated Series will be announced at the Children's and Family Emmy Awards ceremony in March. In Juneau, I'm Jamie Deep.
This is Juneau Afternoon from Studio 2K at KTOO. I'm your host, Boston Christopher. Kim Heacox last visited us here on Juneau Afternoon in 2023 for the release of his novel On Heaven's Hill. Kim lives in Gustavus, and he has been a freelance writer-author for more than 40 years. In addition to his novels, he is also known for writing articles for publications such as The Guardian about issues around climate change. 350 Juneau, the local organization working towards a transition to clean energy, is welcoming Kim to share a program, The Power of Story in Addressing the Climate Crisis, on Wednesday, December 3rd at 7 p.m. at Kunikidi Northern Light United Church. I welcome now into the studio, I have Elaine Schroeder from 350 Juneau. Gunath Chi, Swasiyati.
Thank you.
And also from Gustavus, I believe, I have Kim Heacox on the line. Kim, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Boston. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Excellent. Let me put this in a different way here. I think I don't need this one. I think I just need that one. Okay, great. We have you on the screen for the stream as well as we can hear you really well. So, Elaine, before we talk to Kim, tell me just a little bit about 350 Juneau, what your mission is, and why you invited Kim to speak.
Well, first of all, I'll give you our mission. And about 10 years ago, a group of us decided that what we call climate change, we should now be calling a climate crisis. And I'd say in the 10 years since we started, we can call it a climate catastrophe. And we've seen the catastrophes here in Juneau. So what we've done is we've organized projects and campaigns to really work on solutions to mitigate the climate crisis. And mitigating it simply means we need to reduce fossil fuel emissions. We need to stop new fossil fuel projects. One of the ways we do that is quarterly we testify before the boards of the Alaska Pension Fund as well as the Permanent Fund and urge them to save money for us when we're old and retired and stop investing in fossil fuels. There may be a bump someday in fossil fuels, their value, but over the long run, they are going down, 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 simply because solar's replacing them, even in this current administration.
Mm-hmm. And so, and you invited Kim here.
Because I read, Kim writes editorials for major newspapers, and I recently read one of his in The Guardian, and it was right on. It was spot on. And I thought, why don't we have Kim, who's really a major writer? You know, he's one of Alaska's premier writers, and he's a climate activist, and let's get him here to speak. And so we're having actually a lovely evening, and after Kim talks, we're going to have a little reception with light refreshments. It's a wonderful community gathering.
And so it's also a way for people to learn a little bit more about 350 Juneau, what you do, and they can, if they want to get involved, they can learn more, right?
Absolutely, but the focus will be on Kim.
Okay, great.
And Kim will be our speaker, and we want him to have the stage.
Yeah, so I'm showing you the flyer real quick here. It's The Power of Story in Addressing the Climate Crisis. You're going to be listening to Gustavus author Kim Heacox for the evening. It's at the Northern Light United Church on December 3rd from 7 to 9 p.m. And there is no charge for this talk that's going to be happening. So, Kim, welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show. I loved talking with you a couple years ago when your book came out, On Heaven's Hill. And so we were talking on the phone the other day, and, you know, I love the fact that you live in Gustavus, and yet you have worldwide reach in terms of the power of story, and also your, over a dozen novels and all your writing for The Guardian as well as other publications. I'm curious how you began your journey into the climate crisis arena. When did that start for you?
Well, hi, Boston. Thank you for having me. It's nice to hear you. I started writing opinion editorials for major newspapers back in the 1980s. I broke into the Los Angeles Times. And I was writing mostly about public land back then and into the 90s. In the early 2000s, the climate crisis just pressed itself upon me. Of an inconvenient truth in 2005-06. Events after that, and the increasing amounts of carbon dioxide in the sphere and the resultant catastrophes occurring around the world. And then the massive campaign of doubt and denial created mostly by the Republicans in our Congress, who are basically financed by the fossil fuel industry. And I thought, this is serious. This is very serious. I talked to fishermen in Alaska, commercial fishermen, people in their 30s, and they said, oh no, we expect any more wild salmon to be in these waters by the end of this, enjoying it while it lasts because of ocean acidification and the warming ocean. And they don't know. And they just feel paralyzed by what can they do about it. So I felt it's my responsibility to address it. Effective way is through story. I says that get the greatest amount of attention, I believe, begin with story, because who doesn't worry? Fact can work, but not nearly as well as a story. We're all descended from a long line of storytellers. It's what we're made of, stardust and stories.
Absolutely. So this conversation that you're going to be doing next week, the power of story in addressing the climate crisis, what can we expect from the talk next week? What will it be covering?
Well, I'll tell stories, of course, and I'll lay out the crisis. I'll lay out where we fell with climate catastrophe, as Elaine said. For example, just last year, 2024, the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere increased per million. It's up to 424 parts per million. Most years for that, it was increasing 2.3 parts per million per year. The increase this last year was 50% more than a standard year before, because we're pumping roughly 2.5 million pounds of carbon dioxide every second of every day. And people can get lost in all those facts, but they need to have that foundation to begin with for an understanding, and then move into storytelling. So I'll mostly tell stories, start right off with 2 stories, and then garnish that with facts and numbers and some humor. I hope to get everybody laughing. Have a good time.
Yeah, I think we have to laugh a little bit. It's interesting. I had Dr. Logan Berner on from UAS, a professor, and he's studying climate change in Southeast and just around the Arctic as well, and different things that are going on with that. And I always like to ask the scientists, especially because we hear, as Elaine's describing it as a catastrophe, we hear that if we don't do anything soon, that it might be not good. Let's just say that.
Game over.
And so, I'm curious in terms of, and I'm always asking the question, like, what can I do as a regular, lay person? What am I able to do? And so is there something that I'm going to be able to take from this, Kim, that will give me hope? Like, should I be writing stories? Should I be trying to, tell my point of view about my community? Or what is it that I would be, am I going to be able to get some taste of that to take away from this chat?
Yes, absolutely. Well, first, what you said earlier, Boston, we're not programmed to respond like this. Let's go way back tens of thousands of years ago, and let's just say, tiger down by river, run, flee, get away. And that's how we survived. One of the many ways we survived. But look, crack collapse in 15 years. Better start thinking of leaving now. That's tangible. And that's what we're facing today. It's too abstract for many people. So what I'm going to invite people to take away from my talk, the world, and develop one really good story, where embedded in that story is a moral lesson that they can impart on their friends and family, maybe even write it down, audience, get published. But take that story to heart, hone it, fine-tune it, sharpen it through the years, make it your own, and make it really good. A story about our climate crisis. Up.
Excellent. That's going to be the talk. It's happening next week. The power of story in addressing the climate crisis. And you'll also be able to learn a little bit more about over at Konekidi Northern Light United Church. For more on Kim, you can put into your favorite search engine, Kim Heacox. That's Heacox, and he has his own website too. Is it kimheacox.com, I believe, Kim?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And 350 Juneau, how do we find out more about 350 Juneau on the interwebs?
Yes, our website, 350juneau.org.
Okay, and actually, and 350 Juneau is, and not just 350 Juneau. 350 is a large organization too, right? It's a
national, even international organization. There are a couple hundred 350 groups around the U.S. and more internationally.
But 350juneau.org is how you get involved locally.
Absolutely.
Elaine Schroeder, thank you so much, Gwyneth Cheesh, for being here. I really appreciate it. And be in person next week here. I appreciate you joining us, and come back on again when are you working on something new? You got something new cooking book-wise?
Yes, I finished another novel called Astonished. It's the last book in a trilogy, an Alaska Icy Storm. They're reading it to see if they like it.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to having that. Please come back on the show when that gets published. I really appreciate you calling in. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Boston. Thank you, Elaine.
Okay, thanks, Elaine. I really appreciate it. Yep, absolutely. That will do it for today's Juneau Afternoon. Local stories, local events, local connection, made possible by you and your donation at KTOO. Become a member today at ktoo.org. Enjoy the holiday weekend. We are off for the rest of this week, but we'll be back with an extra show beginning Tuesday, December 2nd, and we'll have a full week of shows highlighting Gallery Walk, upcoming performances, and more right here on KTOO Juneau 104.3 and KAUK Juneau Akbay 91.7. Hello out the road. You can find the show online at ktoo.org/Juneau Afternoon, where you can listen to episodes, subscribe to our podcast, offer feedback or suggestions, or you can find out how to be a guest on the show. You can also find live stream archives on KTOO's YouTube page. Our theme music is by Indian Agent. Programming support comes from listeners and viewers like you and Alaska Airlines Club 49, Hanson Gress, and Heritage Coffee Roasting Company. I'm Boston Christopher, producer and host of the program, with help today from Aaron Tripp. Gwyneth Cheesh. Have a fantastic holiday weekend.